司先生はきっと氷の上でたくさん滑るためにあったかい体で生まれてきたんですね。
14歳中学で初心者無理無理。
誰か教えてほしい。氷の上に立つことなんて誰一人望んでない俺に才能があるのかどうか。みのりさん、俺もあなたをスケートをやるために生まれてきたって世界中で言われる選手にするからね。
Because I'm still waiting for you to click that like button and the subscribe and the post notification button.
Whenever I talk about The Medalist, people always ask me, why do I care that much? It's just an anime about kids figure skating or ice skating. It doesn't really matter that much. And to be honest, not a lot of people really skate or care that much to skate. So why should they even care about this anime that I keep on talking about all the time? The thing is, it's deeper than that. This anime is a really profoundly special anime, and once it hits you, it becomes so much more than just kids ice skating. And in this video, I'm gonna give my best attempt to try and explain to you what makes this anime so special. And season 2 is something that I've really been enjoying. So let's play the opening music and begin. When it comes to The Medalist, I should explain the premise. It's basically an anime about ice skating, in which covers two main characters, but there are so much more, Inori and Tsukasa. Now, Inori is a young prodigy. Well, not necessarily prodigy, but that's another conversation for another day. Basically, she's a person who's wanted to skate, but she's went through a lot of adversity. Her older sister went through an injury, and as such, her parents pulled her away. Then in terms of Tsukasa, he's an individual who once dreamed of going to the Olympics and getting a gold medal and winning, but things didn't work out the way that he wanted. It's about Tsukasa meeting Inori and him trying to make her a gold medalist, hence Medalist. And that's pretty much the premise. Now, why would you care, right? That's how I began the video. It depends on you as a person. Because when I first watched this anime, I didn't know anything. In fact, still to this day, I don't know much about figure skating or ice skating. I learned everything from this anime. But when I watched the first season, I was drawn to it because of the first episode. In the first episode, I realized two things. One, this is going to be a really sad anime. But two, this was going to be an anime that was really going to push me. Because within the first season, you learn a lot about Inori and Tsukasa. Because of their circumstances and what has happened, they're not where they're supposed to be or wanted to be. And as such, they feel like they're left behind. And that feeling really hurt. Because when you saw them, you saw that they had a passion for figure skating or ice skating. But it just seemed as though their time had passed. And as such, it was just a pointless dream to carry on caring. And as such, you see with Tsukasa, he's an individual who's now coaching. He wanted to be a person who was competing and going for medals, but here he is coaching Inori. And with Inori, she's a person who through circumstances, it forced her to kind of basically be late. One of the things that happens within the first season is that she's put in a class with a lot of younger children, and she feels like she's really left behind because here she is at such an old age, and yet she's still learning basic things. And when I watched that episode, I asked myself, what is it about this that's really making me captivated? And it was because of the fact that you see within the first episode that these are individuals who still have that fire burning in them even though circumstances have changed. And before you know it, within season 1, Inori starts to pick up things. She works her butt off. In every single episode, you saw this girl who felt like she's behind everyone slowly but surely catch up. Not because she's some sort of genius, but because she wants it that bad. And it really hits you by the end of season 1 that this is a crew that you want to root for because of what they stand for. The whole message within the first season was about it doesn't matter if you feel like you're behind. You can always catch up. Because for a lot of people, you feel that way. You feel like sometimes things have passed beyond you. People go through injuries or life or circumstances that make them feel like they should let go of a dream or a passion they have. This anime within season 1 taught me so many lessons about hard work, discipline, and just straight honestly, just being a dog. And here we are within season 2. Within season 2, you start to see Inori has returned. But the thing that you notice within the second season is that she's far more confident than what she was in the first season. Because what you realize is that the journey is not over. Inori is still behind, but she's still working her butt off even though she's more confident. But essentially within ice skating or figure skating, perfection is key. You don't want mistakes. You don't want to make anything that's going to reduce your points. Basically, you want to be perfect. So to see a person like Inori and some of the other characters trying to chase after this idea of perfection that sometimes even escapes those who are prodigies seems like a task that's just too much. But for some reason, it's more captivating to see these people who know that they're flawed trying to enter a world where basically everyone wants to be flawless is intriguing. The thing that you gain from this anime, because of the fact that you see these characters chase after something that almost seems unattainable, making sure that everything is picture perfect. They practice until they get one opportunity to show off everything that they've worked on. And the thing is, within season 2, it's been showing us a lot of different people who have different views and different stories to them that initially make you not only just root for Inori, but them as well. And the thing for me that makes the Medalist, it doesn't have the, is the fact that you're watching an anime that is using children, basically trying to always stay perfect on an unstable surface like ice, teach you about adversity, overcoming it, facing it, and trying your hardest to achieve your dreams. And that is so captivating because every single time I switch on an episode, you get this high level of motivation because you're seeing people who are working so hard to get one opportunity to show off that hard work. And sometimes things don't go their way. They're kids at the end of the day. Even adults have difficulty. But to see these individuals still try, even if things don't go their way, is so humanly captivating that you can't help but to find this fire within you every single time you watch this anime. And as such, for me, The Medalist has become one of my biggest motivating factors in life. It's an anime that I look to when I need motivation or just this idea of getting up. The beauty that I've kind of seen within this anime is just how what they do kind of represents life in a weird sense. They're on this unstable surface, and you can kind of consider the ice basically life. These individuals are stepping into this terrain that is just uncertain. You're not necessarily sure how things are gonna go, but they go into it with determination because they have a goal in mind. Similar to life, you're within life and you never know what's gonna happen, but you have these goals in mind, but you don't know what is going to happen, but that doesn't necessarily stop you from trying. The fact that these children have the bravery to step on this uncertain path and try and go after their goal just rings so true to life so many times. There's something just so beautiful about that because you're seeing them soar in the air, glide through this surface that is so hard, unforgiving and cold, but they don't care. They want to achieve their dreams. There's just something beautiful about that every single time I see it. You can't tell me that isn't something about life when you watch this anime, because it is. And for me, that's the thing that makes me love this anime so much. So many times through so many situations I've played bow and arrow, the first opening, just to get a sense of motivation, because I could see the imagery in my mind of these individuals who are gonna give their all, try their hardest, and don't care about what's gonna happen, but they're gonna do their best. And ultimately that song became basically the anthem for me last year, and it was special, and still to this day it's a special opening because of that. It's an anime that's showing you, if I guess I have to use slang in a sense, it's showing you how to be a dog. If you watch this anime and you look at these characters and you leave with nothing, you don't have it. Because when you see that, people who really know what it takes and how hard it is to try sometimes and fail and feel like you're not gonna get there and really feel as though the world is extremely unforgiving despite your passion, your love, and your desire. If you can't identify what's happening to those children and what they're doing, then you just don't get it. But for those who do, this anime will captivate you so much so. And that's why I can't help but talk about this anime. Because I know that in this world that we live in, you need that fire. And anime like this are here for us for a reason. And this is why I love The Medalist. That's why I love talking about it. That's why I love everything that it's about. because not only does it just go well with children, it goes well with adults and just human beings in general. And I didn't even get into the story of Tsukasa. His story just hurts as well, but it's a beautiful story. Just a quick side note on him. The fact that this dude basically wasn't able to achieve his dream, but to pass on the torch onto someone else and do everything in his power to make sure that she can achieve her dreams, believe in her when it seemed like no one did, and help her grow into the person that she is just beautiful. That is why when I saw season 2 and I saw Inori finally show up in Skate, I was so proud. You could see that she's becoming a better person, but she's more confident. This man is putting confidence within this child that is just so reflective that some other children can't even help but look at Inori because she's shining. And once again, there's something about belief being placed on people by someone when you need it the most that goes beyond just what this anime is showing us. It's about life as well. Many people feel like they just needed that one person, or maybe didn't get that one person, or maybe they did. And that could be the difference. This anime is so profoundly beautiful that every single week I find something new about it to appreciate. But the overall message is always the same, and I love it for that. But to not always make this entire video just bummy and like sad, because it's not supposed to be sad in a sense. It's an awesome anime. There's something about this anime that's just so fun to watch as well, because when things go right, and it's just so beautiful to see these individuals just soar into the sky, glide over this ice, and present themselves in such a beautiful way that it's just awesome to watch. And it can make you a fan of figure skating and ice skating because of what they're doing. But to be fair, I must give negatives. This got CGI. For a lot of people, they might not like that. They might think that they're doing too much, and immediately when people see CGI, they're just like, no, not good enough. But I will say that even though there is CGI, I think that given what they're doing, this is one of the situations where I'd vouch for CGI, because you kind of need that sort of animation and movement at times. It gives you more of a realistic feel. Even though it looks a bit clunky because of the appearance, the fluidness is actually really good. Really, that's the most negative thing. I think that for people who are really deep into animation and want the animation to be top tier, you're not going to get this here, but I still think that you're going to get something that still looks good and makes sense when they do CGI. And that's really the biggest negative. And am I biased? Probably. Realistically, I don't really see too many negatives. It's an anime where maybe if you don't like ice skating and it really bothers you, you'll just find it unbearable to watch. But if you're able to open your eyes and really enjoy just the situation, I think you can then end up falling for the sport besides the characters. Those are two of the negatives I'd say. Which then brings us to the overall view of this anime. In terms of the animation, just good, solid animation. It does what it has to do, and I like that. In terms of the music, the OST is amazing. Last time I checked, but I'm not sure, I think the dude who was doing My Hero Academia was involved actually in this anime. He cooks. In terms of the openings and the endings, season 2 just doesn't hit the same in terms of the opening and ending. They're okay. The openings, depending on the day. The lyrics make sense and they're powerful, but I usually skip it in terms of the opening. As I said, I think that this is an anime that is deeply special. I think that in a world where there's so much darkness at times, and sometimes when it feels like you're left behind, or it feels like you don't have hope, or it feels like you just need someone to believe in you, but it just seems like no one ever does and things aren't working your way, I think that this is an anime that can really help shine light near your direction and kind of guide you in a sense. But not only just guide you, just give you a beautiful story of someone who's chasing their dreams in a place that just seems so unforgiving. And maybe in a weird way, there's something about that you can take in terms of your own individual story and what you're doing and what you're chasing and what you're after. And it might give you the motivation that you need to go after it, and also sometimes deal with the situations that you're going through, but realize that you still have to get up. I love this anime. I really do love this anime. And I hope that more people can find this anime and enjoy it, not only for my sake, but because I just think that this is an anime that is so special that it's gonna help you.